Looking for Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins with fast delivery? IG Vault has the cheapest and most reliable coins on the market. Click the link in the description and use coupon code SPORTS for 6% off your order. So what's up YouTube, it's Duke, back here from sportsgamers.com. In today's Madden 21 tip video, I'm going to break down one of the best and most dominant lockdown defenses in the entire game. Guys, this is a super easy defense to set up and run, and you can use it to shut down any offense in the game. I'm going to give you guys two unique, different ways, different setups to run this defense. It's super effective and super tough to play against when you're on offense. Guys, before we get too much further into the video, I just want to remind you, if you're enjoying my content, I do tips and gameplays every week on my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Only about half of you guys currently are. Also, smash that like button and turn your notifications on. It does help me out a lot as a content creator. Also, if you're really looking to get better at Madden 21 or even Madden 22 when it comes out in a very short amount of time, be sure to check out sportsgamers.com. Sportsgamers.com is where I put all my premium tips. I have a weekly tip subscription in the Madden Vault, also my offensive and defensive schemes, and my ebooks. If you enjoy my free YouTube content, you're absolutely going to love my premium content on sportsgamers.com, guaranteed to help you guys take your game to the next level. So, as you guys know, I've been breaking down a lot of big nickel over G defenses lately. This has been recently one of my favorite defenses to run in the game. It is super versatile and super effective. So, for this first way, I'm going to show you. Remember, there's going to be two ways. We are going to change some coaching adjustments. We're going to have auto flip on. Well, we're always going to have auto flip on, really. But it's our zone drops that sometimes we will be adjusting. So, for this way, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set our flats on either 25 or 30, just depending. If somebody is really throwing a lot of crossers at us, it's probably better to do 30 because, if you leave it on 25, people can still roll out on you and throw it over your head. 30 is going to be tougher, and curl flats on 5. So if you struggle to defend the PA boot overs, PA crossers, delayed fades, crossing routes, all that stuff, this is great. Also, if you like, the shotgun bunch stuff with the rollout corners like bench pivot, etc., this does really good against that too. So this way to run it is really good against the meta people stuff run on offense. So like I said, big nickel over G. You can run this in a ton of playbooks defensively. Like I like it out of the Giants personally. And for the personnel, remember you can put safeties in that linebacker. That's what I like to do, especially when you don't have the best linebackers. Safeties are just better in coverage. They get better animation. So to me, that's very important. I like to have some good pass rushers in the game. To me, that's very important. With this defense, I tend to only actually rush 2 or 3 defenders. So I'm not going to be blitzing a lot for this setup. I have broken down some blitzes from this formation in the past, but when you have a decent enough defensive line, you can mix in rushing 2 or 3 and still get really good pressure. So I would make sure that you do have some good pass rushers, but at the same time, these guys you will drop them back in the coverage. And the DNs especially. So a lot of times I'll actually put linebackers here. Now, for this defense, most of the defenses I run in big nickel over G, you've seen. But for this one, I don't use any package. A lot of them I'll do the slot corner package. But what's unique about big nickel over G is depending upon the package, you can get different assignments to put your secondary players in. So for this one, we're going to run cover 2. I'm actually just going to not use any package whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and look at this. We're going to go ahead and move the ball back a little. Like I said, I'll look at some gun bunch. I'm going to look at a lot of meta stuff offensively, how this works against it. So first thing I do, show blitz, pinch my D-line. Now, this is standard cover 2, but I'm actually going to turn this into a 3 deep. Okay, it's going to be a little bit different. So the safety that's triangle, I'm going to put him in a middle third, which is up on the left analog stick. I'm going to put the slot corner on the left. I'm going to put him in an outside third to the left, which is to the left on the left stick. And then the safety in the box on the right, I'm going to put him on an outside third to the right, which is to the left, on the right stick. And this turns it into basically an inverted cover 3. What that means is instead of the slots being on, the flats, we actually have the outside corners in the flats. And instead of the outside corners being in the thirds, the outside deep zones anyways, the slot guys are in the thirds. What this does is it makes it a lot harder to throw a lot of these popular routes because the thirds are coming from the inside on the line of scrimmage, and they get much better positioning. Now, because we have our zone drops, remember, we set the flats 25 or 30. What I like to do with this defense is always user the guy that's in the the mid-read, put him on a blitz angle, and then what I like to do is only rush 2 or 3 and put my DNs on curl flats. When I do this, they're gonna go on a 5-yard depth, and now I'm covering the middle of the field with this guy right here. There's nothing going to be open. Now, when you use this setup, you're only rushing 2. I will show you in a second a way I will run it if I want to rush 3. So, like, I always make sure that these two guys, these 2 D tackles, are going to be some decent pass rushers. And like I told you guys, if you at least have, like, 1 really good pass rusher, ideally 2 or more, though, to be honest, even rushing 2 or 3, you get pressure on this year's game. I mean, it really doesn't make much sense, but trust me, it does. Another thing I'd say is if you know they're passing, pass commit. Anyways, you already know this is the meta right here, the PA boot over. Let's take a look. So as your user, your job is literally just sit in the middle field for the delay fade / playmaker, take it away. And just like I told you guys, rushing 2 people, someone immediately shed through the line. And, that was Donald, obviously, I believe. Or who was this? Was this Donald or Brockers? Actually, I think it was Brockers. He came through the line, Donald finished him off. But that's not really what I want to look at. Look at this coverage scheme. Flats are taken away on both sides. Now, no deep corners or deep crossers because on each side, you can see, first of all, this is what I mean. See how these deep thirds are coming from the inside? So they're kind of just cutting that off to begin with. But these guys are on the sideline waiting for him also. So he's bracketed. Now this route has 2 people on him in good position. This guy's over the top. And, it's long. Now, I will say, when you bring these guys in the box to put them in thirds, you need speed here. So these guys should actually be your fastest DBs so they can get back. If I was running this defense for real, if I'm playing Mutt, these guys are 99 speed. If I'm in regs, my fastest corners are going there to make sure they recover in time. But anyways, then I have to just defend the middle of the field. But there is nothing open here. As the defender, I'm just dropping back in coverage. And I'm feeling good about what I got going on here. Now, if you want to force it, you can force it in there, and you're going to see that they're going to pick this off. Like, this is not something you can just mess around with and just think like, oh, we're just gonna chuck it in there and see what happens. Like, if you try that, you're gonna get picked. So let's do this again. Same exact D. I'm just putting the guys in the curl flats. Now, if you don't worry about the flats, you obviously don't even have to do that, but we're just going to go ahead and do it here. And this time I'm going to try to force in one of these crossing routes or something just to show you guys that, like, I'm not playing around. Look, you try to throw that, well, first of all, it's a terrible pass, but that's a pick. Now, let's move on. So, as I mentioned, you can potentially have your zones on 25 instead of 30. 30 to me is better for crossers, but someone who's abusing corner routes, a lot of times I'll put it on 25. So let's look at this gun bunch rollout corner scheme, this bench pivot stuff. Super annoying. So you guys know that people like to run their bunch to the wide side of the field. Now, in case you're wondering why sometimes people come out in their bunch short side and then flip it, it's just basically because when they do that, they know that their hot routes, when they flip, they can do their hot routes and flip the play and still their hot routes stay the same. Whereas defensively, it doesn't work like that, so they just gain an advantage, making it harder for you to set up your defense. But as you guys know, everyone just wants to roll out, throw their little corner out, and like I said, this is not going to work. There's just way too much defense there. That's going to be broken up or picked every single time. So if you're someone who struggles with the rollout, bunch corners, and all that stuff, this is great defense for that. Further, there's just nothing open because we're going to defend the middle. We got both flats covered. I mean, I guess you could throw it at a quick flat if you want, and take your little yardage there. But for the bigger gains, I mean, as you guys can see here, we're breaking on the ball. We're breaking this up every single time. This is locked. It's not going to be a completion. This is amazing. I mean, like I said, this is just tremendous coverage. You're not going to get better coverage than this. So, now let me show you guys how you could run this and rush 3. Now, this is a little bit different. For this, I actually like to turn my zone drops off, okay? This is going to be for the people who don't necessarily abuse rolling out with corners and crossers. They're just more the type that's going to, just try to hit you with a bunch of, dots, and they're not really the roll out every play type of guy. You know, they make reads, they run different plays, they mix their cover. I'm sorry, not their coverages up. They mix their play calling up. You know, you can't just assume they're always going to want to roll out and abuse stuff like, you know, the average player. So let's look at this. So we're still going to show blitz and bring everybody in the box to show blitz. Then we're still going to put the middle safety in the middle third, and we're still going to put each of the guys in the slot in the respective outside third. So the one on the left, obviously outside third left. One on the right, obviously outside third right. All right, now at this time, what I like to do is put the defensive end that's opposite. Like I said, I always do like to control the mid read with this defense, by the way. So like I always put the D end opposite the vert hook. So you guys can see the vert hook is on the left here. So that would mean the D end opposite him is on the right. I'm going to put that guy in a vert hook too. So what this does is this allows me to patrol the middle and have a vert hook on each side. Now, because I turn my zone drops off, my cloud flats are just going to play like a typical cloud flat, right? You know, they're not going to drop back 30 yards. They're going to more so be maybe 10 to 15. So that does mean that somebody could throw a quick flat on me. Now, if they kept doing that over and over and over again, what I could do is just put this guy in a hard flat instead of the vert hook. But really what I like to do is just basically take that away myself. So like what I mean here is someone call a play like flood, for instance. If I see that tight end is going to the flat, I just want to act like I'm going to guard it just like that, but then come back over to help maybe with the out route or the in route. And you guys can see that's very good coverage. There's nothing popping open because at this point, you know, we're in perfect positioning to take away that out route with the cloud flat because he's running right into him. The reason why flood normally works so good for people is that most people do have their flat set to 25 or 30, and, you know, that's just way too deep to stop this out route. Now, if you just leave it like is, it's going to run right into it. As you guys can see here, that's not going to be open. The other thing that's so good about flood is, like I said, it does have the flat route. So, like, if you have your curl flat set on 5 to take away the little flat, they can't get underneath the out route either. So that's why that out route is so good, is because most people do play of zone drops. And then, like, also, this in route is very effective, too, to where you almost have to use it yourself. But, again, when you actually have your zone drops off and just play standard defense like I am here, you can kind of bait the flat and then come back to the routes over the middle field like that dig route. And you can take the same concept for somebody that's running, you know, any formation really, but say someone's running bunch tight end and they're not really just abusing PA boot over every single play. They're actually just trying to play offense, and maybe they're hitting you with like inside switch, which is more so a play where the reads are, like I said, more so over the middle of the field. Well, you know, same thing applies here. We can run the exact same D, literally the exact same defense. And, you know, you can, I mean, if you want to, you can definitely do the hard flat adjustment, or you can do the vert hook. But at the end of the day, it really just depends upon whatever your opponent's hitting you with. That's why this is very versatile, is you can adjust. But anyways, let's just take a look here. You know how a lot of people run this is just with a little motion slant, and then they're making you pick over the middle of the field. Well, in this situation, all you have to do is kind of just bait one and come back to the other. And you know that post, by the time it does get open at the last second, they're probably going to get sacked, because that does take a long time for that post to run all the way over the middle of the field. All you got to do is just kind of like act like you might guard it initially, but then you see how I'm kind of like in between, so they're not comfortable, but then I actually take away the slants. And at this point, what they're going to have to do is they got to wait for him to run past all these zones. So like right here, you could probably try to fit it in right here, but again, at this point, you're already starting to get sacked. See what I mean? So this defense does a phenomenal job because of the safeties being in the box, turning the regular cover 2 into an inverted 3 deep. It's a very confusing coverage. So this is yet again another big nickel over G defense you can mix in, guys. Over the past month or so, I've shown you so many setups from big nickel over G. You should, if you watch all my videos on it, have just a super dominant defense. There's really nothing you can't do from big nickel over G. That's why it's one of my all year long top 2 to 3 favorite defenses to run this year. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, smash that like button. I'm out of here. Let's get it.